Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's team training. My name is Lisa, and we have some very special guests tonight. I'm very excited. We have some team members that are going to share. So if you didn't know, about 10 days ago, we had a convention in Plexus, and we all went to Orlando and had an amazing time, and we had some great products that were released. During the convention, everyone broke up into groups and we had separate trainings. So what we're doing tonight is there's four of us and we're all going to share a little bit about our favorite takeaways and the things that we learned while we were in our separate groups. So first, who's going to be talking is Crystal, and then Jessica, and then me, and then Christy. So I'm going to let Crystal go ahead and take it away, and we'll just go around. So go ahead, Crystal, just unmute yourself.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm Crystal, and I am a Silver Ambassador. And just a little bit of a backstory on me. I started the products back this past December, and I started to share in January. So the convention experience was very new for me, very kind of quick, ongoing. I will be really honest, I was really nervous about it, but once I got down there, I thought I was going to be on Plexus overload, but I was just absolutely blown away by how much they took the time to really kind of fill into me and fill my cup up and talk to me about who I was as a leader. So that was absolutely amazing to me. It blew my mind how important they made me feel. So with that being said, our small groups, we had three different all Diamond ambassadors. We had Jennifer Leith, Brooke Hemingway, and Jen Hawkins speak to us. So it was really, really awesome. And they basically talked all about building a legacy mindset. So Jennifer Leith was one of the first ones that came on. She was really big on building our skill set, a positive mindset. And I love what she started with this quote. It was, she said, "You can't control what surrounds you until you control what's in you." And I just thought that was so, so powerful, because it all has to start with us and what we put forth, whether in the beginning it's just us or if it's to grow a team eventually. So such a big thing. She talked about who you surround yourself with, the company you keep. Again, the positive mindset, positive affirmations. We went through several of those and how she struggled with that just in her walk, and what makes a positive mindset, positive affirmations, different things to focus on with that. A fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, which was also great. So it was all about what do you want to pass on to your people. So that just spoke a lot to me. And then we had Brooke Hemingway, who was really great too. She built a little more on healthy business habits. And she was really big on talking about goals, really making sure we cultivated our why, which is so important. Doing anything from like a dream board on, just really making sure that that foundation is set, which is so important, continuing forth. And she just said, basically for your goals, just to make sure that they were different from others, that they were realistic, and they need to be clear. You need to have a time frame, and it's something that kind of pushes you outside of the comfort zone, but it's something that you can actually get to. It might not be easy, but it's definitely attainable. And she also went into comparison a good bit. Talking about comparison is self-sabotage. And we've heard a lot about that over convention, which was so true. And I think Christy posted on that today. Just staying in your lane, looking straight ahead, because everybody's walk is different. They really hit on this in our thing. And I was very thankful for it, because I think being at the bottom, when you look around, it's just overwhelming. And you think, gosh, they've gotten here. And I know with my personal story, you know, I've signed up so many people, but yet just keeping them active. I mean, everybody's got a different walk. So you have to do you, and you also have to rejoice in others' victories, which I think is huge. It's very easy for me in that light, but definitely making sure that we're here to support others, and then just stay in your lane and do what you've got to do. So you have to do what works for you and work your story, because all of our stories are different. So I thought that was great. Love this. So she said, Brooke Hemingway said, feeling overwhelmed If you feel that way, you do not have focus. That's just plain and simple. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you do not have focus. So she went over contact list, your list of 100. She went over IPA activities and time management. I love too, her IPA, when we discussed this, she didn't call it the income producing activities. She called it intentional productive activities. That was her word for it. So she said that just sounded a lot better to you, and that's kind of what we're trying to do, be intentional with our time. She went through the 3, 6, 9, 12. I think most of everyone has kind of learned from that from the beginning. But basically, if you can give 30 minutes to your time, and I think Lisa went over this the other day with her IPA thing that she did a Zoom on. But for the 3 minutes, pray, meditate, do a devotional positive affirmation, 6 minutes to connect with new friends, 9 to follow up with previously interested people, and 12 to message new potentials. And I thought this was great too. She said, if anybody follows up with you in that time, she said, do not follow up at that point. Stay on your 30 minutes, do your reaching out, and you can always follow up when it works for you. So stay on that path to get the things done. I thought that was great. She went over several different messaging basics. She gave us some examples of things to say, which were really good. She said a lot about talking less and letting a third party do some of your work for you. So I thought that was really great too. And I know we heard a lot throughout convention, focusing on your step, not the stairwell. They really hit hard on the power of 3, focusing on your level 1s and them reaching out to 3 people. And just really nurturing what you have and what's there. She ended with something called the 3 C's in life. And I don't know if y'all have heard of this, but she called the 3 C's the choice, the chance, and the change. And she said that you must make the choice to take the chance if you want anything to change. That's a tongue twister. You must make the choice to take the chance if you want anything to change. So I thought that was really great, kind of simplifying that. So you got to reach out and walk the walk. So last but not least was Jen Hawkins for us. She talked a lot about doing it scared. It's not going to be easy, and just in all of it. And she said, if you're not scared, it's not big enough, which I thought was great. So getting into a momentum, and how do you do that? You first start with modeling yourself, modeling your team, what you want for your team. She said to consider yourself as a leader, even at a silver level, because you're going to eventually rise to that. So go ahead and think of yourself as a leader and start building yourself up in that way and how you want to run a team. Inspire others as you walk. And then again, with your goals, she did a quote by Zig Ziglar that I was great. I highlighted it, but it says, when you aim for nothing, you will hit it every time. And I just thought that was so great, because if you're not being intentional, nothing's going to happen. So you got to put forth the effort to get something out of it. And she talked about goals again, short-term, long-term goals, much like Brooke. You got to make smarter goals. And I love too, she said that if you don't reach the goal, don't change the goal, change the timeline. And so I thought that was really, really great, because I think we're so quick to want to blame that, or it's not working or whatnot, but stay positive, stay on your path, and stay grounded, and just kind of redirect if you need to. So I thought that was great. And I think pretty much, that's pretty much what she said. This was the last thing that she talked about. I thought this was huge. She talked about being a leader, and that we are to lead with relationships, and we're to lead with love. That this is not about becoming someone's boss. This is not about controlling a team. This is about loving people where they are. This is about coming alongside them, being an inspiration. You're definitely there for guidance. But you're there to lead with love. Their walk and their story might not be yours. And just because that's a team, it doesn't mean that what you saw and what you walked is what they have to do. Everybody has their own story. So I just thought it was amazing that she talked about that, and just lead with love. Everybody's got their own story. You're there for inspiration, and to be there however you're needed. So I thought that was really great. One other thing they did talk about was follow-ups with a planner. I don't know if anybody else does that, and this might be all things that y'all do all the time. But just to reiterate, she got a calendar, just a large calendar, and she just puts down people's names, like when they purchase, and she does their products. And then 3 days out, 7 days out, 14 days out, 21 days out, she goes ahead and writes their name. And then as she gets to those time points, she checks off, like, I did speak to them, I did speak to them, I did follow up. So she follows up 3 days out, 7 days out, 14 days out, 21 days out, and then after the first subscription goes out. So I thought that was really great. At the end of it, they came together for their question and answer session, and pretty much it covered some of the same things. They did say, look at every setback as a set up. I know we kind of heard that a lot in different things that I've watched. And I loved, Christy, they did the feel, felt, found. I was so proud because she started on that. And I think, I'm not sure, I think it was Ashley that was sitting next to me, but I was like, oh, she's using feel, felt, found. I've learned all about this. So I thought that was really great. But they said anytime there were objections, just like Christy had shared that one time with us, that the feel, felt, found method was definitely one of the best things that you could do to follow up with any type of objections. Sharing your story, not selling it, keep everything personal, and just be motivational to your team. So that's kind of it, what I found in mine. But I loved it. I thought it was excellent. So it spoke a lot. I was really excited to be able to get kind of the basics kind of fed back to me to hopefully start to build that foundation in a team. So I hope that was something.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Jessica, if you want to go ahead and share.
Okay. Hey guys, I am Jessica Cooper. I'm a Gold Ambassador, and just want to talk to you a little bit about what happened in our Gold Room, I guess you could call it. We had 3 amazing speakers. I was like, couldn't take notes fast enough. They were just saying so many good tips, and we were all just in awe of everything that they were saying. So first we had Rhonda Shaw, and she spoke on legacy mindset. And I'm going to kind of go through my notes here. So if you see me looking, that's what it is. I made some quick things to jot down. So she focused on legacy mindset, and it was all about speaking truth and encouragement to yourself and pouring into yourself and setting your mindset right to be able to build your business. She spoke about the Les Brown speech at the Georgia Dome, and she was talking about there being a 30-day challenge for that. And so I've been trying to watch it. I haven't done it every day, I'll be honest, but I've been trying to watch it over and over. And it really is so good. It's just a motivational speech. It's pretty long, but something to check out. Just look at it on YouTube. He's a great motivational speaker. She also said to evaluate yourself. Your personal struggles are determining your circumstances. And I was like, wow, that's so true, because anything that I'm struggling with, my fears are determining where I'm at and where I'm going to go. So really taking that in. And then she talked a lot, and then the other 2 speakers also spoke a lot about the Noah St. John book, The Secret Code to Success. That was something I kind of heard a few times over the weekend. So I definitely wrote that down, and I'm going to read that one. But one of the quotes she said from that book was, your life is a reflection of the thoughts you consistently think. And like I said, it was just all about mindset. What do you think about your business? What do you think about yourself? What are you thinking about what it's going to take to create success in your business? And then she moved on to fear. And she said, write this down, name what makes you feel afraid. And she made us all write down one thing that, makes us feel afraid. And then she went into talking about affirmations, versus affirmations, which I know some of you have probably heard all of these things, but for an example, affirmations are things like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And an affirmation is, how did I become so successful in Plexus that I can now lavishly give like I've always wanted? Those are the examples that she used for that. So I thought that was good, the differences in those and how we should really speak those affirmations to ourselves all the time. And then she also spoke on revisiting your why and why you're here and what's going to get you to success and what's going to remove those fears out of your daily life, really, and your mindset. She said, remove stress while dramatically increasing personal productivity and improve relationships on your team. Those are two things that you should do to focus on your why. And then how you start your day will determine your day. So going again back to that, those 3 minutes, taking those 3 minutes to do your devotion or watch a video or something to build up your mindset and your belief. And then she ended with, happiness is the joy you discover as you become the person you were meant to be. And I really liked that a lot. I felt like I wrote down quotes like all weekend, people, so that I could re-speak them to myself. And then next we have Melissa Eichenhorst, and she spoke on building a legacy business. So she kind of went through a lot of things. First she said, create a solid foundation. Don't overcomplicate things. Keep it simple and duplicate. That was what she really focused on. Like, don't make anything tricky here. Just build a solid foundation for your business. She said, why do we make the business harder? Is either we're avoiding something, we're afraid of something, or we haven't taken time to learn the simple steps to doing the business, which I like that. So then she went over some of those simple steps that we can do to make it easy on ourselves and just some of the duplication things that we've learned about. Here are the things that she recommended. The sponsor checklist in your welcome pack, to use that. Your 64 connections worksheet, which is also in our back office. And we did that, something at Super Saturday. If you were at Super Saturday, that was something that we did. And I can put links to these. We can put them in our groups when this is over. But it's right there in your back office, super easy to find. And then, so in the 64 connections worksheet, that's the one where you list like who would be good for the business, who would be good for the products. Let's see, I have mine right here. Who would be good for, who needs the business, who needs the products, and then who would rock the business as well. And then 4 people you think you might have influence over. Yeah, Crystal's holding hers up right there. I've got mine right here too. But so that's a great place to start. And I loved how she said, like, don't overwhelm yourself by sitting there and feeling you have to fill out all 64 at the same time. She said, do 4 or 5 at a time and reach out to those people and then add 4 or 5 more. She said she's working on her Facebook friends list and kind of going through that. And as she's going through it, she's adding people to her 64 connections list to focus on them in different categories and knowing how to reach out to them. So I really liked that, just a way to think about it clearly and easily, nothing tricky about it. And then next to their names on the 64 connections, or you could do this on your friends list, however you do it, write one word next to the name about why you think they would be good for the business, or why you think they need the products. So then when you're reaching out to them, you know, and you're very clear about why you're doing it. It just makes it so much easier when you go to actually send the messages. You've already thought of all of this through. She said, do Testimony Tuesday. You could find 3 testimonies that match 3 people on your list and share that with those people. So she's just coming up with ways to be intentional about reaching out to those 64 people. Do a follow-up Friday using your list, corporate specials for those people on your list, and then any of the challenge groups that you have, like the 7-day groups or the 14-day groups, reach out to those people on your list about those things. The next system, which Crystal touched on, was the IPA worksheet, which is also in your back office you can find. And that is just one way to keep you focused. It goes back to that 3-6-9-12, just really helping you keep focused, that you can do it in 30 minutes if that's all you have. Make it easy on yourself. And like you said, don't try to overcomplicate things. But do it 5 days a week and make it a priority. And don't do anything else until you have that done. Don't, like Crystal said, don't worry about messaging someone back. Don't worry about making a post or anything else. Just work on that sheet during that 30 minutes and make that your priority for those 5 days a week if that's all you have. And then she said the Facebook friends list. If you don't know how to do that, I know on the Pinkalicious Peeps page, there's instructions on how to download your Facebook friends list, which is super easy. And Lisa sent that out not too long ago too, which is a great place to start. Then she said, does your work ethic match your goal? To kind of wrap that up, which is really kind of slaps you in the face sometimes. And then she talked about your shareables in the back office. There's tons of videos, how to share sheets for each product now, product information sheets. I mean, just in the last few months, they've added so much stuff for us to be able to use. So really dig into your back office and use stuff that's there and make it easy for yourself. There's an opportunity booklet with samples, and then a what makes us different page back there too. Okay, so the last one was Julia Carty, and she focused on building a legacy team. And she's really good at this, obviously. She has a gigantic legacy team. And she said, it all starts with you. You are your team's biggest rock star. And so that really, she lives up to that. She's a great example of that. She is a rock star. She continues to build her business and grow her team. And, so she's definitely proof of that. One other thing that we've heard, or I've heard before, speed of the leader is the speed of the team. So something to keep in mind. And then more is caught than taught. So keep focusing on your business, and then others will see what you're doing, and they'll, want to do it as well, and want to get going and doing the same things that you're doing. So you can sit here and teach all day long, but if you're not doing it yourself, then no one's going to learn or listen. She spoke about continuing to build your foundation, go beyond the minimum, and go deep and wide. So try to add as many level ones as you can, and make your team as big, as wide as you can. Practice great sponsoring habits. Be intentional about face-to-face meetings. She said that's one thing that she loves to do with level ones. When she's adding someone new or speaking to them about the business, is a face-to-face meeting. And be sure to ask questions and listen. Things that we should all do, but sometimes we forget to, and we like to talk a lot. Teach your team the importance of goal setting and tracking. So a couple of things that she mentioned on setting goals was start each day with direction, focus on what is important to you, and then the power of three, which Crystal talked about as well. She spoke to that, make sure that your team has the power of three as their goals as well for everyone on the team, and continually show them how they can reach their goals. One thing that we learned at Ruby Retreat, and then she also spoke to, again, a great way to kind of goal set for yourself for the next month is to increase your points by 20% each month. She said that's something that she does, and that's something she encourages her team to do. Is if you're looking for a goal and you're like, I don't know how many or what to do, just start with the 20% of your points. So take your May ending points, multiply it times 0.2, and that gives you, what you need for June to end there. And that will continue, you'll continue to grow if you're adding and growing your points each month. Goals are about what you want, and that ignites your inner motivation. She also talked about dream boards, which I know Christy is big on as well. We've done dream boards on our team. So do those. I mean, I love when I have mine hanging up right here in my office so I can see it every day. And it's a good focal point for me, and I plan to update it again, hopefully soon. But she also said, do you know that nothing you do in this life will ever matter unless it is about loving God and loving the people he made? And that's so true. And then as far as going back to goal setting, she said, write down your level ones, their goals, their why, and ask intentional questions. She said that she has a Excel spreadsheet that she uses to keep up with her level ones. Obviously, she has a ton now. But so you could do a notebook or however you like to, but so that you're continually writing down your why and your goals or their goals for your level one, and you're keeping up with them when you're going back to have conversations with them. So just something to think about, a system that might work for you, in a spreadsheet or a notebook, either way. I'm trying to think. Let's see. We keep going and going. I took so many notes. She talked about team culture, which I know she's big on, and we've heard a lot about lately. Her favorite team culture eats strategy for breakfast. Show how fun it is. Guide your team on simple strategies. Treat all your level ones the same, because you never know who's going to run away with the business, and never assume. And then she also said use the rank up roadmap and the journey to silver. And then last but not least, she had us all write down one big scary goal and what we were going to do to celebrate when we hit that scary goal. And she said to dream big and then share this with 3 people on your team. So that's something that you guys can do as well. And that was it. It was lots. I had tons. I probably didn't even go over half of what they gave us, but there was so much good information. And I've been going back over it and back over it over and over again. It was really exciting.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's hard to get 3 hours of training into, a few minutes. So, and that's so funny, Jessica, because what you talked about with your second speaker is what we even went over, in our group as well. And thank you. That was very good. So I went over, I was going over my notes and I was highlighting things I wanted to share, and I found myself highlighting like everything. And I was like, I can't do everything. So it was really hard to just do a few things. So I'm glad that you actually shared what you did, because it actually went over a lot of the things that I was going to share. So that's good. So that'll help us on time. But my speakers were, Helen McFadden, Emily Gibson, and Rosalind Payne. And they were all fantastic. One of the things that Helen shared, she said, if it is to be, it is up to me. And I love that. She said, your success is up to you. And leadership is a state of mindset. We've gone over that several times tonight, was mentioned, but it's so important what is going on between your ears. That is going to make or break your success, because even if it takes you a while to get to where your goals are, your mindset can determine whether you're going to stay on course or not. So I know that Christy has shared this, Julia has shared this, I've shared this graphic where you see like this cross section of this guy that's digging through a tunnel, digging through the ground, and he can't see that he's about to get to this like diamond or this treasure, but he gives up right before he gets to it. And that's his mindset. He thinks, oh, I've been doing this for so long, I'm never going to get there, I'm going to quit. And you never know when the breakthrough is about to happen. So definitely leadership is a state of mindset. Success is determined by your mindset, time, and consistency. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to be consistent. And you're definitely not going to be able to give it enough time if your mindset isn't right. Something else she talked about was embracing leadership through personal development. Even though IPA, which is, and I like the intentional, productive activity, I like that. But even though the IPA, the leadership development is not technically IPA, you can't get paid if you're, just doing leadership development. But Helen said that it is important to embrace it, because if you're not excited about learning, you're not going to be excited about sharing learning and sharing, the things that you are learning and teaching your team to learn new things with your team. So it's very important that you are doing IPAs, that you're doing personal development as well. She said to kind of think of it as IPA, but don't replace it, but just think of it as part of your IPA. And she said, does personal development create success or vice versa? She said to invest in yourself and your experiences and apply what you learn. It's very important. And again, I think Jessica, you said that your future depends on what you're thinking about or maybe Crystal said that. I'm not sure, but your thoughts create your reality, and that's so true. I'm dealing with some people right now that their mindset is determining their action. They are so fearful, even as grown, I'm 41, and even as grown adults, we are able to allow our mindset and the fear that we have of what people think of us. Look, I get it. I'm there too. I have to stop myself and say, what is the big deal? If I post this, if I contact that person, if I share, while I'm out at church, or I'm out here, I'm out there, what's the big deal if I share? What do I care what they think about me if I'm coming from a place of true concern and that I truly want to help someone? Bob Heilig, you guys, I'm always raving about how wonderful Bob Heilig is. Highly, highly recommend you get connected with him and his trainings. But he says, I was listening to something today, and he said, you got to quit selling stuff. Quit selling. You have to share what you're doing. You have to provide not even an opportunity, but you need to provide a solution. So if someone's looking for more money, you don't say, hey, come join this opportunity I have. Say, hey, connect with them on a personal level about, hey, stay-at-home moms, if you've lost your job, things like that. Provide a solution. And not, hey, look at these great products, but hey, look at what it's helped me with. Provide a solution for people. They'll never have to sell again. And I thought that was really important. And she also talked about Noah St. John, that book. Your life is a reflection of what you constantly think. And do you focus on positive or negative? It is so easy, especially in this day and age, because we're such a spoiled society, that we focus on the negative. We want it now, now, now. Someone cuts us off in traffic. Someone hurts our feelings. Something doesn't go our way. We think someone's thinking ugly of us. We think someone is saying something ugly about us. And we're always thinking negative. It's crazy. So that's so important. Are you focusing on positive or negative? And do you say, I have to, or I get to? There's a difference in that. It is a difference between attitude and gratitude. And again, she talked about eliminating the causes of self-sabotage. And, we aren't responsible for anyone's success or failures. And what I mean by that is that doesn't mean you get to take a back seat to being a leader, into training your team, reaching out to your customers, making sure that they have everything that they need, even training your customers, and giving them resources that they need to be successful with their products. But as far as not being responsible for someone's failure or success, you can give someone all the tools that they need and everything that you had and more to be successful, and they still don't run with it. And it's so easy to beat yourself up and say, I must not be a good leader because they didn't run with this the way that I did, or the way that she did, or the way that he did. So you definitely need to, it's hard to do. I get it because we're human, but to disassociate the outcome of what their choices are or will be. Let's see, allow yourself to be more successful. So that's interesting, because when she said, allow yourself, some of us don't feel like we deserve success. So we don't allow ourselves to be as successful as we can. We need to surround ourselves with more successful people. We need to find the people that lift you up and that are like-minded. It is true that you are the sum of the 5 people, or you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And I think that's very true. Your boss, your coworkers, people at church, your best friends, your spouse, whoever you surround yourself with the most, that is who you sort of gravitate to, and you sort of emulate them, you sort of copy them. And I think that's so true. And I find that whenever I hang around people with more of a Southern accent than I have, I find that I talk like them, which is kind of funny. So it's true. You are who you surround yourself with. And also ask for help or for encouragement. When you're having a down day, when something happens that just really gets you down in the dumps, ask for help, ask for encouragement, ask for some positivity, for someone to shed some light on your situation, get a different perspective. That'll help as well. Also, the name What Makes You Afraid. I love that. And I feel like we need to do that as a team. I think that's a great exercise. And Helen said to put it in the light. Put it in the light. So whatever it is that makes you afraid, okay, fear of rejection. Let's put that out there. And if you can say it, it's almost like the enemy just doesn't have that much hold on you anymore. If you can name it and say, I have a fear of rejection. There, I said it. It is out there. It doesn't control me. And just put it in the light. Be vulnerable and transparent. I think that's so important. Don't you love when you can overcome something scary? That is a great feeling. So if you have a fear of rejection, then like a fear of spiders, right? Just start small with like having a small spider in a jar, right? And not how they do submersive therapy. I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever, but seems like in nursing school they talked about this in psychology or something, but submersive therapy, I don't know. Anyway, where you submerge yourself into whatever it is that scares you little by little. And then eventually, like fear of the dark, start with a dim room and then, okay, you get the point. But it's wonderful when you can overcome something. It empowers you when you don't have that fear of whatever it is that you were afraid of. Because fear will always be there. Fear is always going to be there. As a child, as a grown-up, fear is always going to be there. So don't let it own you. And we'll skip over some things that I'm just going over, which is awesome. Okay, so we decide how much effort we're going to give our business every day. I love this. For everyone that says it can't be done, there is someone else out there that has a harder set of circumstances than you do and got it done. Y'all, every time I hear someone tell me I don't have time, every time I hear that, I always go to Brenda Martin. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When someone else comes to me that has more than 11 kids, homeschools them all, and has 2 other side businesses on the side, apart from Plexus, and she and her husband both went to Diamond, I'm going to keep using them. If someone could find a busier situation, I don't know why I did air quotes because they really are busy, then I won't use them anymore. I'll use someone else. But no one can top that. Who has 11 children and homeschools them all and still has 2 home-based businesses on top of Plexus, and they still reach the top of the company, both of them. I think that's amazing. So I always say, when I say, oh, I'm so busy, no, I'm not. I'm not busy at all. Look at Brenda Martin. Look what she's accomplished. And she doesn't complain. And she's just a great example of someone that you think that is busy. You look at her situation, go follow her. You're not as busy as you think you are. Head trash. So Helen talked about head trash. Letitia, yes, you need to go check her out. She has a great diamond doc too. Head trash. Ask yourself questions instead of making statements negatively. And that's when we talked about the affirmations and affirmations. So head trash is taking any situation at all and you turn it into something negative. So for a quick example, Saturday we were trying to get out the door. All of us were trying to get packed up, get Ava packed up because she was staying in Georgia. We're all trying to get out the door to go to Georgia on Saturday morning for Father's Day all day, driving up there, staying all day and coming back Saturday night. Well, we're trying to get out in time because all my family's supposed to be there at a certain time and we don't want to miss and we lose an hour and we don't want to be late to the party. So, or everybody waiting on us. So anyway, Ava, at just the divine moment, I don't know why this happens, as everybody's trying to get out the door, she has this cup of little beads, tiny little beads, and she spills them all over the hardwood floors in the living room. So of course, Dad and brother and I were all trying to sweep them up and pick them up. And I finally got the vacuum cleaner and I was like, look, we're just going to vacuum these things up. Anyway, Ryan's like, Ava, we're trying to get out the door. And the first thing I said was, because I could have been negative, but the first thing I said was, this could have prevented us from having a wreck. Yes, we're behind a few minutes, but this could have prevented us. So you have to think about the head trash. You guys, I have negative self-talk all the time. I do. And I have to get the enemy out of my head, quit the head trash. That's just trash. That's all it is. It's a negative mindset. And you have to think about things that are positive. You have to be aware what you're thinking about. And that's where she mentioned maybe a thought journal is good, to write out those thoughts, and just get them out of your head, put them on the paper, and walk away. Improve your relationships with your team. Make sure that you're checking on your people. Even if they're not following up with you, they're not checking in with you, you check in with them and make sure that those relationships stay strong. I love this. Okay, so she said when things don't go your way, have a pity party. And Ellen Ford says this too, and I love it. But she says, have a pity party. You got about 5 minutes. Some people even say, I'll give you a whole day. But take yourself 5-10 minutes, have a pity party, and then move on. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the relationships that you can create through this business. And it's about how you can benefit your family, how you can benefit the people that you have relationships with, their family and their health and their well-being. So it's not all about you. Look, I get rejected all the time. My patients are ugly to me. My coworkers, I think, they're talking bad about me, or, my potentials don't answer me, or they answer me in a negative way. Or, my husband says something that hurts my feelings. I get it. It's constantly, negative things that are happening. And, oh, woe is me. Nobody likes me. I'm going to sit in a corner and eat a big pile of worms. But it's not about us. It's just not. There are too many lives to change to stay inward focused for too long. I love that. And no one can connect with someone who is always negative and grumpy. No one's going to want to connect with you if you're always negative, and that shows through. I'm going to go real quick through a few other things. There's Emily Gibson shared, there's always plates spinning. You think you got a lot going on, there's always plates that are going to be spinning. You got to take care of the basics and don't overcomplicate things. You need to make sure that you duplicate things in a basic way. Make sure you're doing your IPAs and you're not just managing your team. Make sure you're taking care of your business as well. Jessica, you did so good going over that stuff. Let's see. Okay, so also when it's not just about us, also focus on your team. She says, I can make more happen when I help others succeed, and that's so important. So again, figure out what your team's goals are, especially your levels 1s and your 2s and your 3s, and help them succeed, and that'll help you succeed. I love this quote. I'm not really sure why I wrote it down or what it relates to, but it says, greatness lives on the edge of destruction. So I guess what we think is going to destroy us, greatness is right around the corner. And are you doing something now that is changing someone's life? So are you coming home from work and sitting on the couch all day, or are you actually going out there and trying to help benefit someone's life? What are you doing now to help you reach your goals and your family's goals? Are you working towards that? If you're not, you need to write out a plan of action. If you don't have a plan of action, you don't know where to start, get with your upline and help them get you a plan of action so you can start reaching those goals. Take action, share consistently, follow up, do the basics consistently because that'll eventually snowball. Let's see. Oh, all non-IPA keeps your business stagnant. So when you're scrolling Facebook and you get too involved in Facebook and the funny cat videos and things like that, do your IPA first, and then you can, scroll on Facebook and see what's happening and what's going on. And the last thing is, it's so important to teach your team good habits, power hours, prospecting, working the warm markets, personally reaching out. If they have questions about this, make sure that you're following up with them and saying, what's your biggest challenge? How can I help you? Whatever their challenge is, I'm scared of reaching out. I'm scared of following up. I'm scared. I don't know, what the timing is. I don't know how to start a conversation just out in public. I don't know how to personally reach out. I don't know how to cold message. Help your team with that. Sometimes you need to ask them, what are your fears this week? Or what are your goals, but you're afraid to reach them? Ask your team what those are, because sometimes they may not think that you care about what they are, but when you ask them, that opens up the door for conversation, and you can see what they're struggling with, and that opens up ways that you can help them push through that. And then the last thing is power hours. So I love power hours, or power half hours like I did last week. I'm going to do some more of those. And you guys, even if you can't get on a call with somebody, do your own. Even if you can't do 30 minutes, do 15 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes at lunch or 15 minutes in the evening. And you guys, there is no excuse whatsoever that no one can say, I don't have a 15-minute block in a day. No one can say that. I just don't believe it at all. Stay up 15 minutes later or get up 15 minutes early, but no one's saying, take out 3 hours, block of time. But give a little to your business and it'll give back. And Christy, I'm sorry, I talked way too long, but that's all I got. So go ahead.
Fine. That was wonderful. Y'all been awesome. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. I'm so excited because it's really cool because a lot of the different groups that we were in, there's a lot of duplication, which is awesome. Because that kind of lets you know, okay, this is important when you hear it over and over and over. So I really enjoyed hearing everybody's group they were in because it just kind of, I don't know, it helps you see which things are key, and it just once again reminds you it's the basics, it's the simple steps. I mean, even in the Sapphire Diamond group, we had, who was it? Wendy Larson, Tara Castaneda, Kristen Abart, and Erin O'Keefe taught for a little bit. And it was just really enlightening to hear the different things that they just kind of brought to the table. A lot of it, and I took tons of notes, just like, and I just was talking about, and Crystal, Lisa, we all have tons of notes. So I love just jotting down. My hand could not write fast enough. They had so many great things, but really just kind of going into how, your attitude determines how far you're going to get with this. And that is so true. Who wants to join someone that has a sour attitude or a bad attitude or just a negative attitude? I mean, how far is that going to get them, and how many people are going to want to join them and, want to be around them and want to, because your vibe attracts your tribe, and that is so true. And you'll hear that over and over and over. And we get uncomfortable to help serve others. And I mean, that's huge, you guys. I mean, just think of it that way. We're getting uncomfortable to help those around us, to help our team, to help, to help those around us. I mean, that's a pretty big, thing to carry, but it's also very rewarding. And it just makes things just, I don't know, it's just a powerful thing to think about. Follow people that are successful, follow, people like Jill Renfro, Tara Castaneda, all these people. Watch their success by following them, follow their trainings. We hear that all the time, and what Lisa even referred to, someone that has a very large family and just could do this, follow someone like that. So that way, you're like, anybody can do this if they want to put that work and the effort into it. And I know, if you've got a team and you've had people where you feel like you're dragging them, and, that's not fun when you feel like you're just constantly dragging someone. I know Erin O'Keefe said that when she started a new team, it was so refreshing. So actually knowing it's okay to start over. It's okay to let people go. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to have people that you just feel like you're dragging them, and they're not doing, what it takes. They're not doing what you're recommending. They're not, you can't motivate the unmotivated. And so just knowing that it's okay, you can start over. You can start a brand new team. She even said that she was rebuilding her team 3 to 4 times in her journey, and that life happens, things happen. And sometimes we get humble for change to happen. So just knowing that you're learning from these things, it does help you, reflect on your own journey through these times. And then too, I know Lisa touched base on this with the whole entitlement. I thought this was pretty cool how they brought this up, that, if emotionally mature, not entitled to decisions corporate makes. So if there's something that, corporate has decided and, it just doesn't seem right, well, we don't have the authority to say, oh, that's just not right. They're like our parents. They are doing it in our best interest. So whatever they decide, they're kind of like our parents. They're, it's in our best interest. So not ever just thinking, oh, what they did was wrong, I don't understand. Just go with it and realize that they're doing this to help us. And they have a lot more experience in behind the scenes than we do. And I thought that was, something to take note. But Tara Castaneda, she was really great. Like this, I mean, you hear this all the time, that this is much bigger than ourselves. And it's so true that, this is a legacy biz. it's alive, not a business where, we should be a slave to it. I mean, that's the beauty of this. If we need to set business hours to where we have more time with our family, then set business hours to where you're not on your phone 24/7, where you can be present. That's the beauty of this. You don't want it to take away from that. Yes, you do want to put time into it, because if you work it as a business, you will reach those ranks, you will reach that pay that you're wanting. But if you work it as a hobby, then of course you're not gonna hit those goals that you have. But I love how they said, legacy is not about things, it's about experiences. Your why is interconnected. It's important. And we say that all the time. I mean, your why is so huge, because you have to have your why. If you don't, then you're just aimlessly just kind of floating along. And you just have to have that why, because that's going to keep you going through those ups and downs. I mean, I don't know how many times I can tell you. I know we've all experienced that roller coaster where we're just really high and then we're like really low. It happens, but it's part of it. And it's definitely just so worth getting past that. And that's what they were talking about. How to create a legacy biz. That was one thing that they talked about. Modeling success. We have hope when others don't. It's your attitude, your positivity. Hope gets people through sticky things. Are you positive with your attitude? And that is number one. That was the first thing they talked about. And Lisa talked about that also. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. That complicates your team. So keep it super simple. Those basic steps, just don't ever overcomplicate it. Even over time, as you become a diamond, don't start doing all these crazy different, contests when it could be super simple. Keep it super simple. And they said, just don't stray from that. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna get some water, guys. And also, this was huge, and they mentioned this several times, developing leaders that develop leaders. Investing in people is investing in growth. So you investing your time into people and developing leaders is investing in growth as well. Developing is a journey, not a destination. So your journey is going to be getting to diamond. If that's your goal, it's a journey. And even when you get to diamond, that's still part of your journey, and it's not going to stop. You're still in that journey. Let's see. Make sure I'm going the right way. Yes, we must develop leaders, not followers. Only when we develop leaders that we will succeed. Never get complacent when we have leaders. We must always model success. I know Jessica touched base on this as far as, never stopping, yourself going silver every month, never getting to management mode. I think all of us have touched on that. So that's a biggie. Just, you want to model success for your team. So you want to always keep working your business. And always in momentum, we create it. And I think Jessica, you said it, how we just want to create momentum. It starts with you. Your team follows suit. Do the same work that you ask of your team. That is so true. Keep it super simple. Let's see. I don't want to repeat too many things. There was a book that they recommended because they did recommend setting priorities and time management. The book recommended was called Time Management from Inside Out by Julie, Morgenstern? And so that's a book I want to get myself. But they were talking about how great this book was. But it was time management from inside out. And how talking about, how important the power of 3 is. If not in momentum, then you want to develop more leaders. You want to, duplicate down. You want, more 3s and 4s. And also develop a leader within yourself, which is, self-development, which you're going to hear over and over and over. When you think of a legacy, you think of long-term. So long-term thinking. And I thought this was really cool. This is what Kristen Abart looks for when she's looking for influencers. She said, get everyone on the products. And she did say, sign the influencers. So when you see someone that's an influencer, she said, sign the influencers, but get everyone on the products. She looks for good emotional maturity, work ethic, a need to be met, better than me, and spunk. Those are the things she looks for. And find people that you think are better than yourself. You will attract at slightly lower naturally, is what they were saying. You must be growing as a person, empower. And in Plexus, you're not their boss. And so always remembering that you can be the biggest cheerleader, but you are not someone's boss. And just making decisions for culture. You want to protect your team. You want to protect your team over hurt feelings. So if there's someone being negative, you want to nip it. You want to nip it fast, because that is not what you want for your team. And when you're thinking of your team, also you're thinking of long term, because this is such a legacy company. So you're thinking 25 years down the road, what do you want your team culture to be like? So positive, fun, growing, teamwork, successful, all those words are key words for your team for longevity. And also never be frustrated at your team, only frustrated with them. So never be frustrated, only, if they're frustrated, you can listen to them, but never be frustrated at your team, and move forward. Just move forward. Your team will break off, and also knowing that your team eventually is going to break off from you. But just know that that's normal. And that was one thing that they said. And make a dream board. I know Jessica talked about that. The dream board is huge. You want to vision cast with any potentials that you have. Every 3 months, even, reevaluate your own vision board. You want to cast that vision every 3 months. Even with new ambassadors, cast a vision, connect with them, help them want it, find out their goals. You want to handhold the first 30 to 60 days. And then you want them to become independent. You want them to soar. And you want to help them with, if they want to do a sip and see, if they're close by, help them with that. If they're not local, then you can help them plan it. You can give them tips or ideas. But not everyone is the same. So you want to shape your leadership around the people that are joining you, and see where their vision is, where they are based on that goal. Plan, let's see. You always want to try to help them go silver, or 2 to 3 customers their first 30 days. That is huge. And always offering the opportunity. Let's see. I know it's already 10. Okay, last thing. How to attract business builders. And these are the key points that they gave. Talk about the business a lot, because, your excitement is absolutely contagious. Unshakable belief. So you want to build your belief to where you are unshakable. And that is, testimonies, diamond documentaries, anything you can do to just build your belief that much more. Share belief in them. So you let them know, like if you're around a friend, you're like, they could rock it, and that they're wonderful with people, tell them that. Do not keep that from them. Just flat out tell them why they would be so amazing and why you want them to join you. Quick success. Once again, 1 to 2 customers or ambassadors. Encourage connecting with your team. Goal plan with income if interested. At least if they're the least bit interested, like 1% interested, go ahead and start goal planning with them with the income, and also set goals with them and will it into place. Say affirmations, like tell yourself, we attract business builders. Tell yourself that daily. I attract business builders, because those affirmations are huge. And that was it. You guys were wonderful. Y'all just touched base on so much goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to rewatch this just myself so I can kind of take some more notes. But yeah, y'all were wonderful. Thank you, Lisa, for getting this together. And Jessica and Crystal, y'all were fabulous.
Yes.